OutDaughtered. Danielle and Adam hit a new milestone, welcoming a new baby boy. For nearly a decade, OutDaughtered has been more than just a reality television show. It has become a shared emotional experience for millions of viewers who have grown up alongside the Busby family. From sleepless nights and chaotic mornings to tender moments of vulnerability and triumph, Adam and Danielle Busby have allowed the world into their lives in a way that feels deeply personal. Their journey, defined largely by the miracle and challenge of raising the only all-girls set of quintuplets in the United States, has been one of constant evolution. Now, as fans continue to follow their story, a new wave of curiosity and conversation has emerged. Danielle and Adam appear to have reached another significant milestone, one that has sparked excitement, speculation, and heartfelt discussion across social media and fan communities. The question on everyone's mind is simple but powerful. Are the Busbys welcoming a new baby boy into their lives? Or does this milestone represent something deeper and more symbolic? To understand why this moment feels so important, it's necessary to look at how far the Busbys have come, both as individuals and as a family. The foundation of the Busby story. Before OutDaughtered ever aired, Adam and Danielle Busby were already navigating challenges that tested their resilience. Like many couples, they faced fertility struggles, uncertainty, and the emotional toll that comes with waiting and hoping. When they welcomed their first daughter, Blake Louise, their world changed in ways they could never have predicted. Blake was not only their miracle baby, but also the emotional anchor that would later ground a family of 8. The arrival of the quintuplets Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Parker, and Riley catapulted the Busbys into a really few could imagine. Overnight, their home transformed into a whirlwind of feedings, diapers, medical appointments, and logistical hurdles that most parents never have to consider. Cameras captured the chaos, but they also captured the tenderness. Adam's quiet determination, Danielle's fierce protectiveness, and the couple's unwavering commitment to their children. From the beginning, OutDaughtered was never just about the novelty of quintuplets. It was about partnership, endurance, and love stretched to its limits. Growth beyond survival mode. As the years passed, viewers watched the Busbys move from survival mode into something more reflective and intentional. The girls grew from fragile newborns into expressive, independent children with distinct personalities. Hazel's red hair and early medical challenges made her a fan favorite, while Riley's sharp wit and fearless attitude often stole the spotlight. Parker's sensitivity, Ava and Olivia's close bond, and Blake's role as the nurturing big sister added layers to the family dynamic. Adam and Danielle evolved too. Parenthood reshaped their identities, their marriage, and their priorities. Danielle became not just a mother but a businesswoman, managing her clothing boutique and advocating for women's health. Adam confronted his own mental health struggles publicly, opening conversations about anxiety, depression, and the pressure of being a provider in the public eye. Through it all, the Busbys made a conscious effort to show the messy, imperfect side of family life. They argued, disagreed, felt overwhelmed, and sometimes questioned their own decisions. That honesty is a major reason fans remain so deeply invested. The question of one more. Over the years, the idea of expanding the family has surfaced more than once. For Adam and Danielle, the thought of another child has always been complicated. On one hand, their lives are already full beyond measure. Raising 6 daughters is no small task, emotionally or physically. On the other hand, the longing for another baby, particularly the idea of a son, has occasionally lingered in the background of conversations and interviews. Danielle has been open about the toll pregnancy took on her body, especially with the high-risk quintuplet pregnancy. Health concerns, hormonal changes, and long-term effects have made the prospect of carrying another child a serious and weighty decision. Adam, too, has expressed both openness and hesitation, acknowledging the emotional appeal while recognizing the realities of their situation. This tension between desire and practicality has shaped how fans interpret any hint of change in the Busby household. A new milestone emerges. Recently, subtle shifts in the Busbys' public narrative have caught attention. Rather than dramatic announcements or explicit confirmations, it has been a collection of moments, comments, photos, reflections, and milestones that have fueled speculation. The family appears to be entering a new chapter, one defined less by diapers and bedtime routines and more by growth, independence, and long-term vision. For some fans, this milestone feels emotional rather than literal. The girls are getting older, more self-sufficient, and more aware of the world around them. Blake is no longer just the big sister. She is becoming a young woman with her own voice and aspirations. The Quints, once inseparable toddlers, are developing individual interests, friendships, and personalities that extend beyond the family unit. In this context, the idea of a new baby boy may symbolize something broader, a shift in identity, a rebalancing of family roles, or even the welcoming of new energy into the household through non-traditional means. Adoption, advocacy, or expansion in a new way. Some fans have wondered whether the Busbys might consider adoption, fostering, or supporting a child in need through advocacy or mentorship. For a family that has always emphasized love, faith, and community, the idea of expanding their impact beyond biological parenthood feels aligned with their values. While there has been no confirmation of such plans, the speculation highlights an important truth. Milestones do not always come in the form of newborn announcements. Sometimes, they arrive as decisions to give back, to heal, or to create space for others in meaningful ways. The Busbys have spoken openly about gratitude, about recognizing how fortunate they are and feeling called to use their platform for good. Whether that means supporting charities, advocating for children's health, or simply modeling strong family values, this sense of purpose has become more prominent as they mature. The emotional weight of a baby boy. The phrase baby boy carries emotional weight in the context of the Busby story. It represents not just gender, but the unknown, the road not taken, the possibility that never materialized. For parents of all daughters, the idea of a son can symbolize curiosity, balance, or a different dynamic within the family. Yet Adam and Danielle have consistently emphasized that their family feels complete in love, if not always in structure. They have rejected the notion that a son is something missing, choosing instead to celebrate the unique strength of raising 6 girls. This perspective has resonated with many viewers who see their own families reflected in the Busby's journey. If a new baby boy is being welcomed, it may not be in the traditional sense. It could be a metaphor for growth, renewal, or even a new project or chapter that requires nurturing and care. Life after the early years. One of the most significant milestones for any parent is realizing that the most intense phase of child-rearing is ending. For the Busbys, this transition is especially profound. The early years were defined by medical scares, sleepless nights, and constant supervision. Now, the girls are forming memories that extend beyond the home, and Adam and Danielle are rediscovering parts of themselves that were once set aside. This stage brings both relief and melancholy. There is pride in watching children thrive, but also a quiet grief for the version of them that once fit in your arms. Danielle, in particular, has spoken about the emotional complexity of this transition, acknowledging how quickly time has passed. A new milestone, then, may represent acceptance or recognition that life is changing, and that change does not diminish what came before. Through every phase, Adam and Danielle's marriage has been a focal point. They have weathered stress, miscommunication, and personal struggles under public scrutiny. Therapy, honest conversations, and intentional effort have helped them rebuild and strengthen their relationship. As the children grow older, the couple has more space to reconnect, reassess their goals, and dream together again. This renewed focus on partnership is itself a milestone, one that often gets overlooked in discussions about family growth. Rather than welcoming a new child, the Busbys may be welcoming a new version of their marriage, one that feels more balanced, grounded, and future-focused. Fans, expectations, and reality. The speculation surrounding a potential baby boy also speaks to the unique relationship between reality TV families and their audiences. Fans feel invested, protective, and curious. They celebrate milestones as if they are personal victories and mourn challenges as shared losses. However, Adam and Danielle have become increasingly mindful of boundaries. They share generously, but they also protect what matters most. This balance suggests that if and when a major life change occurs, it will be revealed on their terms. In the meantime, the conversations themselves reflect the deep connection viewers feel to the Busby family. Redefining what more means. Ultimately, the idea of more does not have to mean more children. It can mean more peace, more intention, more joy, and more alignment with one's values. For the Busbys, hitting a new milestone may be about embracing where they are rather than chasing what might have been. Welcoming a new baby boy, whether literal or symbolic, could represent openness to the future without being bound by expectation. It could mean welcoming new opportunities, new chapters, and new ways of defining family. As OutDaughtered continues to evolve, so does its meaning. What began as a story about an extraordinary birth has become a long-term portrait of family life, one that acknowledges growth, struggle, and transformation. Danielle and Adam Busby stand at a crossroads familiar to many parents. Their children are no longer babies, but they will always need guidance, love, and support. The milestones ahead may not involve cribs and car seats, but they will be just as meaningful. Whether or not a baby boy ever joins the Busby family, one thing is certain: their story is far from over. And for fans who have watched from the beginning, this new chapter, whatever it holds, feels like a milestone worth celebrating. As the Busby family steps into this new phase of life, the meaning of milestones begins to shift. For years, milestones were easy to identify. First steps, first words, first day of school, first time all 6 girls slept through the night. These moments were tangible, measurable, and often captured on camera for the world to see. But now, the milestones are quieter, more internal, and far more complex. This stage of the Busby journey is not about survival or novelty. It is about reflection, intention, and redefining what fulfillment looks like after the chaos settles. When the noise softens, one of the most striking changes longtime viewers have noticed is the emotional tone of the Busby household. The constant noise that once defined their days, crying babies, overlapping schedules, medical alarms, and exhaustion-fueled tension, has softened. It hasn't disappeared, but it has transformed. The girls are older now. They understand routines. They express themselves with words rather than tears. They negotiate, question, and sometimes challenge their parents in ways that signal growth. For Adam and Danielle, this shift brings both relief and a surprising sense of loss. Parents often talk about missing the baby years, but for the Busbys, those years were uniquely intense. Missing them does not mean wanting to relive the exhaustion or fear. It means missing the closeness, the simplicity of needs, and the clarity of purpose that comes with caring for infants. This emotional complexity is part of why the idea of a new baby boy resonates so strongly with fans. It taps into a universal longing to pause time, to revisit a chapter that shaped who you are. Danielle's personal transformation. Danielle Busby's growth over the years has been especially visible. Once focused almost entirely on keeping her family afloat, she has gradually reclaimed parts of herself that were put on hold. Her journey has not been linear. Health struggles, hormonal challenges, and the invisible labor of motherhood have taken a toll. Yet in recent years, Danielle has shown a renewed sense of self-awareness. She speaks more openly about her limits, her needs, and the importance of balance. This shift is itself a milestone, one that many mothers struggle to reach, especially after years of putting everyone else first. For Danielle, welcoming something new into her life does not necessarily mean another pregnancy. It may mean welcoming peace, stability, or creative fulfillment. It may mean redefining success, not as doing more, but as doing what aligns with her well-being. In this light, the baby boy becomes symbolic. It represents a new focus, a new responsibility chosen intentionally rather than out of expectation. Adam's evolving role. Adam Busby's transformation has been equally profound. Early seasons of OutDaughtered often portrayed him as the steady provider, balancing work with fatherhood while quietly carrying immense pressure. Over time, he began sharing his struggles with mental health, opening a door that many men feel afraid to approach. This vulnerability changed how viewers saw him and perhaps how he saw himself. Acknowledging anxiety and depression did not weaken Adam's role as a father or husband. It strengthened it. It allowed him to engage more honestly with his family and model emotional openness for his daughters. As the family reaches this new milestone, Adam appears more present, more reflective, and more grounded. The idea of welcoming something new into the family, whether literal or metaphorical, fits naturally into this evolution. It suggests growth that is conscious rather than reactive. The girls at the center of it all. At the heart of every Busby milestone are the girls themselves. Blake, now growing into her teenage years, stands as a bridge between the past and the future. She remembers life before the Quints, before the cameras, before the world knew her name. Her perspective is unique, shaped by both responsibility and independence. The Quintuplets, once seen as a single unit, are increasingly recognized as individuals. Their personalities are no longer emerging. They are established. Each girl has her own strengths, sensitivities, and dreams. This individuality changes the family dynamic in subtle but powerful ways. Raising 6 daughters has taught Adam and Danielle lessons that extend beyond parenting. They have learned patience, adaptability, and the importance of listening. These lessons influence how they approach every decision, including whether or not to expand their family in any form. Fans reading between the lines. In the absence of a clear announcement, fans have turned to interpretation. A comment here, a photo there, a reflective caption. These fragments are pieced together into theories, hopes, and assumptions. While some speculate about adoption or fostering, others believe the milestone is purely emotional, a closing of one chapter and the opening of another. This kind of speculation is not unique to the Busbys. Reality television creates a sense of intimacy that blurs boundaries. Viewers feel like participants rather than observers. They want to celebrate, to anticipate, and sometimes to imagine outcomes that align with their own desires. Adam and Danielle seem aware of this dynamic. Their recent approach to sharing feels more intentional, more curated. This does not mean they are hiding something. It means they are choosing what deserves public attention and what deserves privacy. Redefining legacy. As the Busbys move forward, questions of legacy naturally arise. What does it mean to raise children in the public eye? How do you ensure they feel valued for who they are, not for the story they represent? How do you step back when the world still wants access? These questions shape the kind of milestones that matter now. Legacy is no longer about how extraordinary their circumstances were, but about how grounded their children become. It is about teaching values that persist long after the cameras stop rolling. Welcoming a baby boy could, in this sense, symbolize welcoming a new mission, one focused on impact rather than expansion. Faith, gratitude, and perspective. Throughout their journey, faith has played a quiet but consistent role in the Busby family. Gratitude has been a recurring theme, especially when reflecting on how unlikely their story has been. This perspective influences how they view the future. Rather than asking what more they can have, Adam and Danielle often ask what more they can do with what they already have. This mindset reframes milestones as opportunities for service, growth, and contribution. In this context, welcoming something new does not require a crib or a name. It requires intention and openness. The reality of closure. Any of the hardest milestones for any parent is accepting that a chapter has ended. The baby phase, once all-consuming, eventually gives way to something quieter. Closure does not always feel celebratory. Sometimes it feels like standing at the edge of familiarity, unsure of what comes next. For the Busbys, this closure is layered. It marks the end of a period defined by medical miracles, public fascination, and relentless responsibility. It also marks the beginning of a stage where choice plays a larger role than circumstance. This is where the idea of a baby boy becomes emotionally powerful. It represents the question, what if? And sometimes, the answer is not to act on the question, but to honor it and move forward. A family still growing. Growth does not stop when children stop being babies. It simply changes shape. The Busby family is still growing emotionally, relationally, and purposefully. The milestones ahead may involve graduations, independence, and letting go. Adam and Danielle are learning to grow alongside their daughters rather than ahead of them. This mutual growth creates space for new kinds of beginnings. Whether or not a new child ever joins their family, the Busbys are clearly welcoming something meaningful into their lives. It may be clarity. It may be peace. It may be a renewed sense of purpose. The meaning behind the headline. Welcoming a new baby boy is a headline that captures attention, but the truth beneath it is far richer. The milestone Adam and Danielle are experiencing is not defined by gender or infancy. It is defined by transition. It is the moment when a family recognizes that they are no longer who they were and that this change is not something to fear. Looking forward with intention. As fans continue to follow the Busby journey, one thing becomes clear. The story is no longer about what makes them different. It is about what makes them relatable. Time moves forward. Children grow. Parents evolve. And milestones, once marked by balloons and announcements, are now marked by understanding and acceptance. If the Busbys are welcoming a baby boy, it may be the part of themselves that is ready for the next chapter, whatever form it takes. And that, perhaps, is the most meaningful milestone of all.